Welcome to the 18th video in this series, making a 2D racer with Unity. So the previous video, we added this grace period onto our race such that other cars can finish the race when the winner has crossed the line. We still have one small problem with the leaderboard though, and that's the case that you can see on the screen here. So we have a 2-lap race where Maisie has won it, but Possum and Tigger are still going around their second lap. And ideally, we'd want them sorted on the leaderboard in order of their progress around the lap. What we're going to do is upgrade the waypoint class and give each one of them an index. That index will start at 0 for the first waypoint on the lap, and as the cars move from waypoint to waypoint to waypoint, basically they'll get a little bit of progress updated as they go around the lap. So if there were, say, 10 waypoints around the lap and they got to the first waypoint, they would have 10% of progress. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this progress to then sort the cars on the leaderboard if they've not finished the race, but they are on the same lap. Now, this is not going to be absolutely perfect, of course. If we had 2 cars sort of between the same waypoints and right next to each other, it might be they're not quite sorted correctly. But in my experience, that happens really, really rarely and doesn't really matter, I don't think, too much. As I said, the alternative would be actually to use the spline and a lot of complicated maths actually to try and find out exactly where something is going around the spline. And I just think that's overkill for this particular game. So we're going to use the waypoints to track our progress. So I'll close down the game and let's drop into VS Code, and we need the waypoint class. So into our waypoint class then, I'm going to take this one from here and we'll change the name of this to index and change the type to an integer. And then down in the constructor for a waypoint, we'll send in then the index. And we can set our property. And then down the bottom here, yes, we have a toString here. Let's add the index into here as well. So we already have a lot of information. I'm going to scroll this along to the end here and put a space and then index is equal to and index. Now, I appreciate I've gone right off the screen there, but hopefully you get the idea. I probably should at some point put this on at multiple lines. All right then, so I'll bring back out the files. And as I do that, actually, I think I might put this at the beginning. So let's cut that from here and go back to the beginning here. That's better. And we can call this for short IDX, can't we? Okay, that's a little bit better. So having done that, we will now have broken, I think, our track builder, which is where we're actually initializing our waypoint. Yes, we have some red here. So what we want to do then is make sure that we have the index. So we'll say int index is equal to 0. Then we can take the index here, and in the constructor for the waypoint, after the vector2, we can do index++. So this will take the index and then post increment it, if you like. So it'll use the value it's got and then increment that value by 1. So back in Unity then, if we go ahead and run the game, what we should see in the console are all of our waypoints with the indexes. This is going up to 64 and should be starting, hopefully, with index 0. There we are. Good. All right, so I'll close that down, make a little bit more space, clear the console. Now we want to calculate the amount of progress that we've made, and we can do that on the car waypoints. So I've got a car selected here on the right-hand side. I'll just double-click on the script. And here we can add ourselves then a couple of public properties into here. I'll put this actually above the current waypoint one here. So that's going to be int, and we'll say count. And that will return then our allWaypoints.count. And then we'll have another one, which is going to be a float, and that's going to be our normalized progress. So we'll make this a float, call this normalized progress. And this will be then our current waypoint.index divided by then, and we want to cast as a float for the division here, our count. The reason we're casting to a float here is if we don't, we'll end up with integer divided by integer, and it'll just result in 0 all of the time. But what this should do now is increment between 0 and then 1 as we go around the track. And then we need to use this normalized progress value, and we have a debug label in the CPU car movement. The bottom of here, where we have the step change, going to add in another line here. So we'll put a plus on the end of here and remove the plus from here. And this can be then the progress. And for this, we want then our CarWaypoints dot and normalized progress. And what this value should do is update each time we move towards a new target, or sorry, we update our target. I'm looking where we had this. Did we remove this from inside here? No, it's up here in the update target. Here it is. So every time we invoke this here, what we should see then is our progress being updated as we go through the waypoints. And it's this value that we're going to use actually to sort things on the leaderboard for cars that haven't finished the race but are on the same lap. Before we do that though, let's check that this value actually is making some kind of sense. So back in the Unity IDE then, I'm going to select one of the cars here. And I'll select not that one, which is the one with the high skill. Is it car 2? Yep, it's this one here. Okay, I'm going to get hold of the debug label and just drag that into here, and also get the debug label and re-enable it as well. Now it is up on the left-hand side here, isn't it? So I'm going to go to scene, double-click on it here, and zoom out again. That zoomed in a little bit much. Let's just move this down to the left-hand side of the screen so we're not in the way of the UI. So I'll get hold of the move tool and just drag it down the axis, something like this, so it isn't in the way. So we should be able to run the game now. And as the car drives around the track, let's turn off the gizmos here, that's better. As the car drives around the track, we should then be able to see the car having its progress updated. So let's have a look. And there you go. You can clearly see now the progress is updating for the car from 0 to 1 as it goes all around the lap. And because we've got a lot of waypoints, we've got a lot of frequent updates, which is nice. It should go to almost 1. Yep, there we go. Excellent. Okay, so we've got some progress measure we can use now then for the cars going around the track. So now what we want to do is use this in our leaderboard to sort them. Again, for those cars that haven't finished the race yet, but are on the same lap. And as that happens, actually, coincidentally, that would work really nicely for Tigger and Possum here, where Possum's progress would clearly be bigger than Tigger's. Therefore, Possum would end up higher on the leaderboard. So I'll close that down. Back inside VS Code, I've got the race controller class open. If we just scroll down to where we finished the race here, it's here that we sort our standings. At the moment, we're sorting by the completed laps and the total time. What we eventually want to be able to do is also sort according to the progress that's been made around the lap, if the laps of the cars are the same. To be able to do that sort, the CarRaceData needs to know how far the car got around the lap, so it needs this normalized progress value. So let's right-click and go to the definition of our CarRaceData, and we can add ourselves a new field, which is going to be the partial progress. Then we'll add ourselves a public getter, which is going to be for the total progress. So we'll say public, and it's going to be a float called total progress. And this is going to return the completed laps plus our partial progress. So if we're halfway around a lap and we've already done 2, we would have a total progress of 2.5. And it's this total progress that we're going to use in the comparison. We need to be able to set this partial progress value on this particular instance of CarRaceData though. So we'll add a method to do this. What we'll do is we'll add a new public void. I'm actually going to copy and paste that one. And we'll call this one ForceFinish. And we're going to take in here a float, which will be the total time and then the progress. So we'll set the total time to be equal to the total time, although really we should use our function here, shouldn't we? So we'll do set total time and send in the total time, and then we can set the partial progress to be equal to the progress. So that's us able now to set on our CarRaceData the total time taken along with the progress. If we need to, this will be used on cars that haven't managed to finish the race. So let's go to our race controller, and in the race controller in the finish race, what we want to do now is set the race over on all of the cars, and then for those that haven't completed the race, we can then force this finish. Now we know if they've completed the race or not by using the CarRaceData value that we have, but that's not one of the keys, that's one of the values. So let's make an adjustment to this. I'll put some brackets around this. We can say car, comma, and data. Then we'll just say in race data. That gets us then the keys and the values. So here we can check now and we'll say if data.race completed, then we'll just continue. Otherwise, we can force the race to be over. So we can say data dots and force finish, where we send in our current race time, and we also need to send in our progress. The question is, where do we get the progress from? So if we go to the CarWaypoints.cs, we have the normalized progress on that. But inside our race controller, we've got access to the car core, not to the car waypoints. So what we'll do is we'll keep the car core and we'll put an accessor on the car core to grab hold of the car waypoint. So let's go to the carcore.cs here, and we'll add in a private field for the car waypoints. And then in awake, we can try and get hold of these. So we'll say car waypoints is equal to, and then get component. And here we can also put an error check in here as well and just disable and return if we don't find them. So we'll say if car waypoints is equal to null, then we can say car waypoints missing from scene. Otherwise, with that set up, what we can do is add ourselves a property actually to get the normalized progress. I'll go to car waypoints actually and just copy this line from here, then go back to the car core. And then at the top here, we can add public float normalized progress. And that returns then the car waypoints normalized progress. Now we can go back to the race controller. And we can get hold then of the car core, and the normalized progress, and that will then force the finish. And it's probably a good idea here actually to log this as well. So we'll get a debug log, and down here what we can do is we can show the progress inside here, and also then the car name. And then instead of finished, we'll have a DNF. And hopefully what should happen now is when we come to finish the race, we should see DNFs and then the normalized progress for the cars that are still running on a given lap. Note that that normalized progress is not the total progress. That's something different. We've got that on the CarRaceData here. What we're looking for here simply is a value between 0 and 1 for each of the cars that have not finished the race, and they should have the DNF. I'm back inside Unity. I've been ahead and run a quick race with a grace time of 1 second and a couple of laps, and it seemed to have worked okay. So Maisie has won it by a long way, with the best lap much faster than the other two and completing 2 laps. The other two, Tigger and Possum, are still on their first lap. And we can see that Tigger is ahead of Possum, and if we look down here, we can see that Possum has 0.34 and Tigger 0.38. So if that had been sorted on the leaderboard, we would have had the correct order on here. All right, so I'll close that down. With that done, back inside VS Code, we can now add in the sorting here to take into account the total progress if we need it as well. So we're returning at the moment if the laps are not the same. Otherwise, if both have completed the race, then we want to return the comparison of the time. So we'll say here if A.race completed and B.race completed, then we're going to return the comparison of the total time. Otherwise, we need to return the comparison of the total progress. So return B.total progress compared to A.total progress. And what we can do also, maybe in the debugger up here as well, is put the total progress in so we can verify that. So that will then be our data dot and total progress. So back inside Unity, I ran a race with another car as well to make sure I could check the sorting. So Maisie won as usual, and the other 3 are still on their second lap. And it seems to have worked okay. So Tigger is the next one, then the next one's Jabber, the next one's Possum. And also looking in the console here, I've already taken a look at that, but we can see now the total progress is correct. So we've got 1 lap done, so it's 1.35, 1.46, and 1.62. So that seems to have worked really well. So I'll close that down. I think one final thing we could do actually to finish off our leaderboard is put a DNF for the cars that haven't actually finished. So let's go back into VS Code. We can go to our leaderboard here. And what we're looking to do is adjust this piece of text here. So I'll make a new string here and call this time text for want of anything better. And then we're going to say that if our data and race completed, then we want a formatted string and it needs to be this here. So I'm going to copy that and paste that here. Otherwise, we're going to put DNF. Then we can grab hold of our time text and we can put that then inside here like this. And hopefully now we should see DNF for the cars that didn't finish. And then back in Unity, I've gone ahead and run the race again, just the quick 2-lap one with a low grace period, and it's worked. So we can see now for the 3 cars that didn't finish, we have a DNF. And any car that manages to cross the line, that'll then get the total race time taken. Cool, so I'm going to close that down then. And I think that's a good place to end this particular video, and we've kind of completed our race management now. So we're able to start the race ends rather gracefully, there's a grace period, and we've got quite a nice looking leaderboard as well, which is really good. We're not done with the application though, still plenty more to come. What we're going to look at now is actually a hazard. We're going to end up dropping random oil slicks around the track at random intervals and positions, and when the cars hit them, they're going to spin. So next video, we're going to start building up this spin effect. So thanks very much for watching this one. Comments and questions welcome as always on YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.